Paycheck Protection Program. The second round of funding became available less than 24 hours ago. And while it was hugely disappointing, it was absolutely not shocking that there were so many system failures. Bank executives told us at NBC that the SBA's loan approval process was so overwhelmed that the system crashed repeatedly. And that was just a fraction of the millions of small businesses that desperately need federal assistance. I want to bring in my friend and colleague, Andrew Ross Sorkin, co-host of CNBC's Squawk Box and founder of the New York Times Dealbook. Andrew, even if the PPP program worked out perfectly, it is just a 2-month economic solution, while we know we're facing a significantly longer health solution. How is this mismatch?
Well, I think the piece of this that's not being appreciated right now is exactly what you said, which is 2 months is not long enough. You probably are going to see, interestingly enough, over the next several weeks and months, as the U.S., quote unquote, reopens, some of the unemployment picture actually hopefully get marginally better. The question is whether that can be sustained, because it's one thing to say America's reopening. It's another thing to actually do it. And if you have to actually abide by what health experts are telling us, which is that you need social distancing in a restaurant, in an ice cream store, a bakery, a retail outlet, a mall, et cetera, and you can only have 50% of the people sitting there, or even less in some cases, the question is whether the economics of that business work at all, whether it's even worth, frankly, reopening. And so you're going to have a lot of businesses try to restart. And my great worry is that we're going to realize quite quickly, actually, that the economics of being open don't make sense. And then we have to figure out what we're going to do about that. Okay. Is the government going to step in again?
Then to that very point, reopening might not be economically sound. You've got the president saying he thinks we're going to have a gangbusters third quarter. So couple what you just said with the fact that when the third quarter comes around, this enhanced unemployment benefits that we've gotten because of the CARES Act, that also rolls off. So where does the White House get the rationale behind this booming third quarter?
Look, I think that we are in a bit, I hate to call it this, many of our politicians are engaging in what might be described as a confidence game. And there's a reason that they're engaged in the confidence game, which is to say that right now you want people paying their rent, their mortgage. You want businesses to continue to pay. The second that people think that business is not going to reopen, that school is not going back, any of those things, if you were to take them off the table, all of a sudden, if you had your rent and you might not have a job right now, you might say, you know what, I'm not going to pay. If that were to happen, you create a true financial crisis, a true spiral. It spirals directly from the landlord to the bank and back again. And so I think that politicians at the moment are trying to keep hope alive. Hope is not a strategy, but you do need it to some degree to keep our society running. The question is, do we have too much hope, or is that hope being overhyped? And I think, and I don't want to be a downer this morning, but I will be. I'm anxious to think that it is.
Yes, but is playing a confidence game the right thing to do when we're facing the kind of economic despair we are? Just a couple of weeks ago, when you and I were talking about the different aid the government is offering, you said, well, the game plan is to try to put every business sort of in a time machine.
Right.
But instead, what's happened in the last few weeks, we're publicly shaming who took what money when. That's not a time machine. That's king-making and shaming.
100%. And that's a huge debate right now. You saw the Lakers giving the money back, Nathan's Hot Dogs giving the money back. So many companies are giving the money back because they've been named and shamed, in some cases by the government, in some cases by the media. The perverse reaction to all of this, by the way, is that some of those big companies are now actually not going to be employing their people, which is to say, if you believe that this program at least was set up initially for small businesses, hopefully, but for employment for everybody, you're now going to have big companies continue to furlough their employees, because even if they, quote unquote, have a high market cap, they don't necessarily, they may make the business decision not to hire all of their people back. So this is going to be a very rocky road along the way, and a huge debate, obviously, about these bailouts.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.